In the name of Allah, the gracious, the most merciful. Very, very good morning, students. Today, we will discuss about the third dominance relation, which is the codominance. Codominance is a situation in which both different alleles in a heterozygote express themselves. So, it is a situation where two different alleles of a gene pair express themselves completely instead of showing a dominant recessive relationship. In the dominant recessive relationship, the phenotype of the heterozygote is similar to the phenotype of one of the parents. But in this case, both alleles express themselves completely. They produce their respective substances. In this case, there is no any dominant recessive relationship, as well as there is no any incomplete dominance relationship in which F1 offsprings are the blend of the two phenotypes. There is blending at phenotypic level in F1 generation in case of incomplete dominance, but in the codominance, both the alleles show themselves completely. They express themselves completely. And so, it is a situation where two different alleles of a gene pair express themselves completely instead of showing a dominant recessive relationship. As a result, the heterozygous organism shows a phenotype that is different from both homozygous parents. In this case, the phenotype of the heterozygote is totally different from both homozygous parents. Now we will explain it. The phenotype of heterozygote is distinct in quality from those of the two homozygotes. It is not an intermediate quantitative expression like incomplete dominance. In incomplete dominance, there is intermediate quantitative expression is produced. Intermediate form of the both homozygotes is produced. For example, in case of 4 o'clock plant, when red flowered plants are crossed with the white flowered plants, we can get the pink flowered plants in F1 offspring. There is blending of phenotype. The phenotype is intermediate in case of incomplete dominance, but in this case, both the alleles express themselves and produce their respective products and produce their respective phenotypes. Each allele of the gene pair is associated with different substance. Each allele produces its own product. E.g., for example, allele A1 produces substance X. Substance X. Similarly, allele A2 A2 produces substance Y. Substance Y. Both the alleles represent their selves in the heterozygous condition. And so, codominance occurs when both the alleles express independently. Codominance occurs when the both alleles express independently. Codominance occurs when both the alleles express independently. And form their respective products. And form their respective products. X and Y. Allele A1 produces X product and allele A2 produces Y product. The codominant heterozygote would have both substances at the same time. The codominant heterozygote would have both substances at the same time. For example, when allele capital A plus when alleles A1 and allele A2 both are present in heterozygous condition, they produces both the products X and Y. This is the genotype A1, A2 genotype. Both these alleles express independently. Both alleles express independently. So, allele A1 and A2 are codominant to each other. And what is the codominant allele? How will you define the codominant allele? Codominant allele. Codominant allele. Different alleles of a gene different allele of a gene that are both expressed in a heterozygous condition called codominant. A1, A2 genotype will produce X and Y substances. Both of them express independently. They do not show any dominant recessive relationship or any incomplete dominance relations, but they show themselves completely. Note please. Now we take the examples of codominance. There are many blood group systems, 30 major and 100 minor blood group systems are present. In human beings, ABO blood group system, MN blood group system, MNS blood group systems, and RH blood group systems are present. They are under the controls of genes or alleles. There are two main examples of codominance. Number one, AB blood group, and number two, MN blood group system. Blood group system. Now we will discuss about AB blood group system and explain how two codominant alleles control AB blood system. In ABO blood group system, there are some alleles which control this system. For example, IA, IB, and small I. These are the alleles which control the ABO blood group system. In AB blood group, two alleles IA and IB are present. IA produces antigen A on RBC, on red blood cells. Similarly, IB allele produces antigen D on RBC on red blood cells. When both alleles are present in a heterozygous form. For example, IA, IB alleles are present in heterozygous form. They produces both types of antigens. They produce these two alleles which are in heterozygous form. They produces both types of antigens, antigen A as well as antigen B on the red blood cells. Both these alleles show themselves independently. They produces their respective substances, the antigens. So these alleles produces AB blood group, AB blood group, which is on the basis of antigen A and B. Because both these alleles express themselves in heterozygous condition, and hence and allele IA and allele IB are codominant. This is the first example which explains codominance relationship. And the second example is MN blood group. Second example of codominance is MN blood group. MN blood group system. MN blood group is under the control of a pair of codominant alleles. MN blood group is under the control of a pair of codominant alleles. These are LM and LN. LM allele produces M blood group and LN allele produces N blood group. And so now we discuss the discovery. Landsteiner, two scientists named as Landsteiner and Levine, discovered the MN blood group system. On the basis of specific antigen. on the basis of specific antigen. These two allele LM produces antigen M on red blood cell and allele N produces antigen N on the red blood cells. And so when there is antigen M, this blood group is known as M blood group, and if the antigen N is present on the red blood cells, which is produced by these alleles, and this blood group is known as N blood group. In this way, there are three phenotypes of the MN blood group system. There are three phenotypes of MN blood group system. Number 1, M phenotype. Number 2, N phenotype or blood group. And number 3, MN phenotype. This M phenotype is produced by allele LM, and N phenotype is produced by the allele LN, and MN phenotype is produced by the allele LN. M phenotype has M antigen on a red blood cell, and these antigens are produced by allele LM. Similarly, N phenotype has antigen N on its red blood cell, on RBC, and so these antigens are produced by alleles LN. Similarly, MN phenotype has M antigen on red blood cells, and these M antigens are produced by allele MN phenotype has M plus N. M plus N antigen. M plus N antigens on that blood cell. Mn antigens M plus N antigens are produced by the allele Lm and Ln. Hence, because Lm Ln genotype in a heterozygote will produce both the antigens. Lm produces M antigen and Ln allele produces N antigen at the same time. And so these Lm and Ln alleles are codominant. Hence, Lm and Ln alleles are codominant. Are codominant. Are codominant. Now, I sum up the whole story in a table, in the form of a table. Phenotypes, genotypes, phenotype, genotype, and antigens on RBC. Antigens on RBC. If number one phenotype is M blood group, its genotype will be LM, and M antigen is present, M antigen. M antigen on red blood cell. Number two, if phenotype is N, then genotype is Ln and N antigen is produced on red blood cells. If the phenotype is Mn, the genotype is Ln. Both the Ln, this is in heterozygous form, both the alleles express themselves independently, and so M plus N antigens are produced because both of these alleles, Lm and Ln, when they are present in an individual, they can produce antigen, both of the antigen M and N on red blood cells. So in this case, both these alleles in the heterozygote shows themselves, they form their own products, their antigens. At the same time, both antigens are produced, antigen M and antigen N, and so the blood group will be MN blood group, and so these alleles are codominant. These alleles are codominant. There is an activity if a man having M phenotype, if a man has M blood group or M phenotype marries with a woman which has N blood group or N phenotype, all the children which are produced are of MN blood group. All the offsprings have MN blood group when these two, man and woman, marries. P1 M blood group marries with, this is the male, and N blood group is present in the female. This is the P1. When they marry, their genotypes will be LM, LM, similarly LN, LN. These are the phenotypes. Two phenotypes, and these are the genotypes of both blood groups, and gametes are formed. All the gametes are of same type, LM gamete, and in this case LN gametes are formed. This is the male and this is the female, and so when they unite at fertilization, F1 offspring is formed. F1 offspring is formed, which is LM, LN, MN blood group, MN blood group. This is the F1 generation. F1 generation, all the offsprings have MN blood groups. And so, in these two examples, we have seen that number one, alleles IA and IB are codominant. In the second example, in the second example, LM and LN alleles are codominants. These are the two results. And so this is the whole explanation of the codominance relationship. Thank you very much.